strengths you would consider to be Pyosik on his signature champion with the Kindred, but this time around, Team Liquid, they don't want to play that in the jungle. They're going to ban it away themselves instead, along with the Jace and the Xayah. It's Kennen, it's Nico, it's Annie, banned out by C9.
LeBlanc.
Team Liquid, yeah, I mean, LeBlanc is open. Static Shiv is still not nerfed on the current patch, so they'll lock that one in for Haeri.
We did see Static Shiv LeBlanc in the last game not be able to close the deal, but I understand the pick here because EMENES would definitely take that if Haeri didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it does leave Vi available, though. Vi still incredibly high prio these days. It is a really popular pick for Blaber. Does give you some lockdown onto a pretty mobile champion here in LeBlanc. So we'll see if they are going to lock it in, but that is my expectation.
I believe Vi is one of Blaber's worst champions all time. It's definitely the only champion he's lost on this split. But
they've only
even
lost
though it's
one
in a
game.
Yeah, but and it was with Vi. So and he's won one game with Vi, but overall, it's a 33% win rate across 6 games. So it's not super well played, but it's definitely one that's been powerful and that he hasn't necessarily performed on.
Well, gonna get another chance at it here against Team Liquid. They'll also lock in the Xayah for Berserker. When they see a champion like LeBlanc that wants to go in, burst you down, they pick a champion that has its own get out of jail free card. Also gonna give the rest of the team more ability to jump in and go after their own targets without having to worry about peeling and protecting that carry. Over back on the other side, would not be surprised at all to see the Wukong locked in.
No.
Yeah, Wukong is good, but I mean, it's also, it's interesting because when you see Xayah, you can go more non-committal and just commit more heavily to poke, which I think Xayah can struggle with because Xayah really does want to fight against champions that are going to hard commit, that are going to full send the dive, and Wukong is that.
So with the Wukong locked in there, that does mean Rakan goes back over to C9. They get to have the lovers duo there in the bottom lane. Also means that we're going to have different roles locked in the first half with mid laner, jungler, AD over on TL. Jungler, AD, and support on C9. So expect to see some mid bans from TL. Expect to see some support bans from C9, I would expect.
Yeah, first Rakan game of the split so far for Zven. I was also thinking that Zven so far has looked like a more complete support than in past splits. He's actually been in the position for a couple years now, so I think he's had time to really round out his skill set. And I feel like his Rel game and his Nautilus game have been quite strong, so I'm looking forward to seeing if he can find the angles once again on another engaged, non-pure enchanter champion.
Well, let's see. Well, they banned the Melio away, so that's one of those pure enchanters that they
There you go, support king.
are not going to be up against. The Ahri banned out there. That is traditionally one of those picks that Haeri always likes to lock in, but of course, you already pointed out you want to pick up the LeBlanc because you don't want to give it away, so they'll ban out the Ahri so they don't have to deal with that too.
It is interesting, right? Because now, like, a lot of those traditional mid lane picks with the Vi are gone. Because I would have said, oh, what about the Annie? But Cloud9's already banned that. The Ahri's already gone. You know, the Nico's going to be banned out, as it kind of always is. So a lot of those heavy lockdown champions, you kind of want point and click CC against LeBlanc to really be able to punish. So it'll be interesting to see where EMENES does take us, as he's going to be 4th pick, and then we're going to have Fudge pretty much guaranteed last picking for top to try to get counter pick against Summit.
There's one left, and it's Lissandra. You don't see it that often, but it's still a very strong pick against LeBlanc. But there's also the angle of going Tristana, just because double AD is getting more and more popular. Tristana mid is quite strong, and we literally saw the matchup last game. So I would think he'd go one of those 2 options, but we'll have to see.
Lissandra does currently have some buffs, but I believe they're on PBE, so they're not even on the live version of the game yet, and we're also still a patch behind on LCS. So it would definitely be the current not so hot version of Lissandra if they wanted to lock that one in, but C9 are quick to just go for their top lane instead.
I mean, it's, to me, it's so funny because it's like you already see mid, right? So there's the only reason you pick this on 4 instead of going to 5 is as a denial pick.
Yeah, you think they'll take it,
right? You think that it's so important for Summit that you'd rather take this away instead of actually having counter pick here. And now we have to see, what does Summit have as the answer? Gnar is available. I mean, he's like the Gnar guy, man.
Yeah,
Pick Quinn.
And they're going to have mid counter pick regardless.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of they think Renekton is a better blind pick against Summit than it is to counter pick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's you really want to take that away.
Because you know he would take Renekton.
Yeah.
He would just take it.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's just going to play Gnar. That's my expectation. Like, he's been so good at Gnar for so long that this is such a common matchup. So I would not be surprised at all if it is just the Gnar, but instead, okay. So it is just going to be Ornn as a lockdown. So they're just going more for like a pure kind of 5v5 style comp. I do think Renata is going to make it really difficult for a lot of what C9 has drafted. I love it as a counter engage tool here. You have Rakan, you have Vi, you have Renekton, all looking to dive forward. And you have to deal now with that Renata ultimate, the hostile takeover that is going to make things so difficult here.
Now, hold on.
Oh, Zeri mid?
Oh, it's mid lane
It's
Zeri.
AP Zeri mid.
It's AP static shiv Zeri mid. Wake me up inside, Isaac.
Come on, man. It's in a different role. You got to get excited.
This is new. She's
both-
just quirky, man.
No.
She just keeps showing up.
Wait.
Quirkies.
Give me a minute.
Why is the camera on us?
The camera's on you to see your immeasurable disappointment. There's only been one pick in on this patch in competitive of mid lanes area. I'll go back to 13-11. I'll check that as well because I am kind of curious to see. It had 4 picks. So between the last 2 patches, 5 picks globally. Now this is all leagues. So this is not like he's playing some meta thing. I did see a little bit of people experimenting with this quite a while ago, but last time I saw people experimenting heavily with it was pre-Zap nerf when it was like the AP one-shot W, which it is not that anymore. So it is kind of interesting, right? I guess the premise is similar to why you would pick like a Tristana or whatever into the LeBlanc, where you're trying to just get shoved, you're trying to kind of just constantly push him in. I don't know if it's gonna work. To be honest, I really like TL's comp way more.
Yeah. I think TL put together a very strong team comp.
Oh, it's electrocute even on the Zeri.
I just don't know about Summit's Ornn. I was just looking at his win rates. He's played it. Of his 8 most played champions, Ornn has the lowest win rate, which is not too surprising with the way he plays, because when you have players like Summit, to me, that love to dominate lane and kill backline, they just try and play Ornn like a bruiser rather than like a spacing frontline engaged tank. So really, I agree with you, Azael. I love their team composition. I think they outscale. I think they have good balance of damage, but it's just a matter of does it match the way the players are going to be able to pilot it?
Yeah, I mean, and that is that question, right? But at the same time, double AD carry with no cleanse and 3 dive champs against Renata. Like that is nightmare fuel. I play a lot of Renata, and this is about as good as it gets for comps to play into. The hostile takeover can just solo win a fight against this kind of composition.
Cloud9's comp is really weird.
I think it's really bad.
Yeah.
But this is what Cloud9 does. Fudge has even said in interviews before, they like to play like some of these fast, loose, goofy, like weird comps, and even normal comps, but just playing them super out of pocket just to see what they can get away with and limit test during regular season, especially when it's an 8-team playoff. He talked about like they know that they're going to get into playoffs, so they're going to experiment with stuff. And this right here, boys, this is, if I knew,
like Renekton Vi topside, Ornn should be able to neutralize this completely.
How do I do this?
Right, what are we looking at, Flowers?
Flowers is trying to use the
This
illustrator.
is an experiment.
Okay.
Experiment.
And you're going to point to Zoe.
Where?
Or Zeri.
Yeah, where is...
One of the Z champs. Okay.
There.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's what is happening in the current state of this game. Cloud9 is experimenting to figure out if this is something that now they're going to have to make everybody ban against them or consider in all the future drafts.
Well, and the reality is, even though I don't like the draft, we've seen so many times where Cloud9 have just straight up hands diffed teams, right? Where, and this is something that even who he was talking about when he was on here casting with me last week, was that sometimes Cloud9 just shows up and they just win a team fight that they're not supposed to win because they just out-execute you, and then all of a sudden the game is over because they snowball better than everyone else, right? So that is the reality, is this team plays at such a high level in this league that they can just roll people over, sometimes even when they shouldn't be able to. So we'll see what TL has here.
And I also think that TL is playing much differently than they have in draft in most of their previous games. Like when they were blowing people out, it's because they were the ones hand-diffing their opponents, and I feel like they got into a habit of just picking exclusively for lane, where it feels like here they've actually drafted for the team comp, so the roles are flipped, and they're still winning bot lane anyway.
Berserker forced to flash and ghost there very early with a nicely timed handshake from CoreJJ. Now he's level 1, going to go on that full retreat, and that also gives the opportunity for Pyosik to invade Blaber. He's going to find him there, just beat him over the head with that stick. Blaber's only got 300 HP left now, and his AD carries back in base. Pyosik has help from CoreJJ rotating over. He'll steal this blue, no problem.
I mean, Berserker and Zven really mismanaged that. They were kind of just too far forward, right? It's a level 2 power spike. This is like the oldest kind of meme in the book, basically. You know, they hit 2 first, and they got a huge chunk on them. They forced both summons off Berserker. They forced the flash off Zven as well, and they didn't even expend a single flash. So it's not like it was some, as they're hitting 2, he flashed forward and caught you off guard. They just slowly walked up and killed you.
And hey, man, they're just slamming that wave into the turret, finding some nice poke in the meantime. Zven's still only at about half HP. Blaber's looking for maybe
Blaber's in struggle zone right
something
now.
here, but yeah, all he's really looking at is Pyosik stealing away his camps. If you're looking at Blaber's blue side quadrant, he got wolves and that's it. Pyosik took Gromp and blue.
I really don't think Blaber expected bot lane to go this way. Otherwise, he would have passed towards the Renekton, in my opinion, because then that blocks the ability for Pyosik to invade him. But once bot lane did go wrong, I think Pyosik just did a great job stealing 2 of his camps and really taking a lot of options away from Blaber. Oh, Zven, look out.
Zven has got to be careful on this one. They wanted to shove this wave up so they could try to make the dive happen there. Handshake. Oh, and they have Pyosik waiting. Nimbus strike for the first blood.
And now Berserker's probably in trouble as well. At the very least, he's going to have to run. We'll be able to survive, but that means all of the waves that are there are going to be denied. So it's another full wave denied. At least one more plate will go down. And you almost want to say that this game is pretty close to over. Like, it is so bad on the bottom side that bot lane 2v2 going this bad this early has completely screwed Blaber over. It has taken Berserker and Zven completely out of the game.
Yeah.
This is a game-ending mistake from Cloud9.
We're really going to have to see this Zeri pop off. And we haven't seen it before. I mean, that is... we heard someone talking about why you would join Team Liquid, like why he wants to play with CoreJJ. A lot of people would say because CoreJJ is just an amazing player who wins lane. That's what he's showing here, not necessarily because he roams top.
I mean, we're talking about a 1,000 gold lead, not even 5 minutes into the game, with only the single kill on the board. Like, Team Liquid's having an awesome early game here in this bottom side. Up in top lane, yeah, it's about a 1-wave lead for Fudge, but you would expect that with Renekton into Ornn. Mid lane's pretty close between Haeri and EMENES. And then we're already talking about how the bottom lane disadvantage translated into problems for Blaber as well, losing out on those camps. He was able to get a little bit back, moving into his enemy's blue buff jungle, stealing that one away from Pyosik at least.
I will say, though, in terms of the actual AD carry difference, Yeon didn't get a kill or assist. He's only about 300 gold up on Berserker at the moment, so somewhat surmountable if Berserker can hold off, cash in his call, and get to his items.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? He's 400 gold up right now. They did get the plate, so he didn't get the kill or assist, but that's still, you know, more than a kill worth of gold, and we're at 5 minutes into the game. So the question really becomes, can C9 stabilize? If you can stabilize from here and not give up more of an advantage, not have it snowball, then I don't think it matters, but this is the problem.
So the 2 levels matter a little bit, too.
Yeah, level 5 versus level 3
like,
is not a fun matchup to play for the 3.
You know, it's 400 gold per stats, basically for base stats per level, and then you have 400 gold lead already. And then when you start thinking about it like that, all of a sudden it's like, okay, he actually has double his gold worth of base stats, right? Like, and that is really problematic. They also get access to the dragon. But again, if C9 can stabilize, if they can stall out the gold lead around this point, then it doesn't necessarily have to be game ending to what you're saying.
Dragon goes over the way of Team Liquid as well. 6.5 minutes into the game. That nice Hex Drake very early on. Useful stats for every champion that plays the game of League of Legends. Pyosik level 5 on the Wukong. Once he hits that level 6, I expect to see him continue to play aggressively, try to find more opportunities to scrap with Blaber, scrap around this bottom lane that's just been running the show the whole game. Scuttle Crab, he'll be the first on it, but C9 is ready to potentially reinforce for a challenge here. Nope, Smite's ready to go.
Oh, look.
Haeri jumps in, forces the flash out of Blaber, but the chain is still attached. Chain number 2, Blaber. You didn't want to be there, buddy.
And this is all TL have to do, play around that advantageous bot lane. Cloud9 have got to pretty much, I think, abandon ship on bot and try to play cross map, try to do things on the top side. But it's going to be very difficult because it's an Ornn on the top side. It's not something that you can really attack.
Exactly.
And even if you put the Ornn down a bit, is that going to spell, you know, a win condition for your team? And that is what Cloud9 are going to have to problem solve here. It is good farm so far for EMENES. He is working towards Shiv. And we'll see. I mean, we've seen some pretty crazy stuff. Berserker had a Zeri game, I want to say it was last week, the AP Zeri game, where he legit was just eing in on people and popping his R and almost one-comboing them.
Yeah.
So you can get to that level. There's always a way to come back, but it's a brutal start here for Cloud9.
Yeah, I don't see a way of them salvaging this bottom lane because a lot of times when you have a Renekton comp into a matchup like Ornn, no, you can't necessarily like slingshot the game over the Renekton, but you can at least get top push and secure Rift Herald. But in this case, like their bot lane position is so bad, I think it's going to be really easy for CoreJJ to just leave at certain points to go for Rift Herald. I don't even know if Cloud9 will be able to secure that side of the map with how broken bot lane is.
Nice little trade from Haeri there on EMENES as well. The Zeri is the hope here because, you know, Vi's not been having a great early game. We've talked plenty about bot lane. Renekton has a massive lead, so Fudge is having a great time here in this 1v1. But again, I'm going to need to see some sort of big teleport into maybe a second Drake fight or something along those lines if they want to translate that somewhere outside of top lane.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. You know, if I'm Renekton in this game and I have an advantage top, you know you're not winning the game through 1v1, is they're going to look for Haeri.
Haeri gets found there by the Vi ulti, and EMENES guns him down before we can distort away. Nicely played from C9 to find their first kill of the game. But now Team Liquid's going to bring Pyosik bottom to look for a dive. There is no ulti available for Berserker or Zven, so they're going to use Cyclone 1 there to pop the Rakan. Berserker can disengage. He uses the Ghost, doesn't need the flash. But Team Liquid, they grab the kill in the support. They force the AD carry back. Now they're going to make their opponents lose even more waves. They're going to grab more plates. Summit's going in for the all-in on Fudge up here on the top side. Ornn forces out Dominus. Trade of the ultis. Summit's just going to use that extra momentum to get this wave shoved up and then make a rotation of his own.
And the biggest problem is the fallout that we're not even watching in bot lane. That is a triple stacked, if not a quadruple stacked wave that Berserker is losing during all of this, right? So, you know, TL are playing so excellently around that big advantage they had on bot side. They know all they have to do, slow stack the wave, push it up, have Pyosik there as the wave crashes, and force the dive, right? Yeah. Push them back off of that wave and extend that advantage. Because, you know, when we checked in last time, it was a 400 gold difference between the two AD carries. Now it is well over 1,000 between these two AD carries, and we are only 9 minutes in here at this point. So, you know, richest in the game is Yeon. He is looking really, really good. And Pyosik is very, very fed. Excuse me, Pyosik actually has the most gold now, and he's going to have his first item done very fast. And then when you get that early mythic done for Wukong, you're kind of just Thanos. Like, you are so strong in these early team fights.
Well, here's the thing I'm going to be looking at with this advantage for Team Liquid so far. I see a lot of pressure on Yeon, because if this was reversed, if Berserker was the one who was super far ahead, go back to what we heard about from Huhi a couple of weeks ago, where he's just like, yeah, Berserker will always just win a fight, and then boom, you're taking over the game. So I want to see if Yeon can have that same sort of success now that he's been set up for it. This is just another look at what happened in mid lane. Nice ulti there from the Vi, locks him down. Zeri bursts him before he can ever get away, and one more look at the bot lane dive.
Yeah, it's just, again, slow stack the wave, push it in. All the waves are crashing here at the same time. The next wave came in, they denied that as well. They take the first tower. They're extending a massive gold advantage. I mean, 2K is a good gold advantage at most times of the game. This is 10 minutes.
They got the first tower before their opponents got Rift Herald.
Yep.
That's how much momentum they have had there in that bottom lane. In that 2v2 that's honestly been more of like a 3v2 with Pyosik showing up and always helping them. But it was Yeon and CoreJJ that got those first advantages for themselves fair and square.
On the other side of it, at least Cloud9 got the Rift Herald.
Yeah, they got the Herald.
I didn't think they'd be able to, but they pulled off a good gank in the mid lane. They got the Rift Herald, so they've been able to stay a little bit in it. And honestly, just with the way we've seen these teams play, yeah, Cloud9 can often just win fights when you don't think they're going to be able to because they're hand stiffing in fights. And sometimes Summit and Pyosik are in their own little world during team fights, and that first item Wukong is going to be killing Kruggies when you're trying to do a dragon fight. There could be something that goes wrong because the first 11 minutes of this game have been textbook for Team Liquid, but there's more than 11 minutes to the game.
Are you telling me that this doesn't feel like a 2.2 thousand gold lead?
So this actually does feel like a 2,000 gold lead, but it doesn't feel like a Nexus death.
Okay, all right.
Well, I can confirm the Nexus is in fact still alive.
Okay,
so
we still got both Nexuses.
Check. It's also just going to be interesting to see how EMENES performs in the team fights on the Zeri, right? Obviously, this is going to be one of his only games that he's actually played on the pick. It has not been played a lot, but will he be able to really perform to level? Because if this is like Berserker, and Berserker is the guy that's ahead of the curve of the game on the Zeri, you have a lot of faith as a Cloud9 fan that he's just going to 1v5 the team fights and nothing else is really going to matter. But is EMENES going to be able to pilot to that same level? In his career, he does not have a lot of AD carry games. He has 2 Lucian games he's played, 1 Tristana game he's played. He has a few over the years, but not a tremendous amount by any means. Some Corki, but Corki kind of is a bit of a different beast. It's more like PokeChamp. So it'll be interesting to see how he actually pilots this. The early levels have gone good. They got that gank. He got the kill. He's up farm. So he's in a position where he can make things happen for sure.
I do feel like this AP Zeri build, though, also doesn't necessarily play like an AD carry. Like, it's almost like a different champion the way you pilot it. So
you're an assassin.
A little bit, yeah. So I think, and his laning has been strong on it.
Yeah.
So he definitely has a chance to succeed here.
He has a chance. He's either going to succeed or he doesn't.
50-50.
So that's 50-50 chance.
You win or you lose.
Yeah, 50-50
That's League
chance.
of Legends.
That's League of Legends right there.
Yeah. Just a good old League of Legends
old-fashioned,
experience.
honest game of League of Legends. You win or you lose.
Just like back in George Washington's time.
Yep, just as God intended.
George Washington didn't play Zeri.
No. Seems more like, what would he play, you know?
I'm not touching that.
Good honest champ like Garen.
No, he would have been a Lumberjack Scion player so he can chop down the cherry tree.
Oh, okay, I like it.
That's why Lumberjack Scion was one of the first skins in the game.
Oh, okay.
Pyosik popping the Cyclone, going after EMENES and Zven, but not going to find a whole lot here. TL want to keep up this pace they've had. TL want to make sure they keep the pressure on C9. Don't allow these guys to scale up past the point where this gold lead becomes irrelevant.
And honestly, they haven't. The gold lead has shrunk. It's 1,000 less than it was a couple of minutes ago.
Yep.
Plates are about to fall. Yes, the bot lane turret fell, but that fell 4 minutes ago. And there's still pretty much, there's 5 plates in mid, and there are, I believe, 4 plates in the top lane. There's not massive advantages built up in CS, even if there is an 80 carry gold. So Cloud9 did do a very good job weathering the storm.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Zven is so poor. Like, he is 1,200 gold behind
He's got no
other
money.
support.
And who cares? He's just a little support. So
Yeah,
really,
true.
on the people that matter, the gold's even.
Because 1,000 of the gold
True.
lead is
I see what you're saying. It might be problematic that Berserker's down with supports, but yeah, I mean, I think that one of the big advantages here, though, is that it is a Mountain Soul and that you have 2 Drakes already, and that TL are really going to be set up well to fight.
Next Drake is big.
The next Drake is really big. I mean, imagine you get to that point where you have Mountain Soul. Cloud9's comp is very upfront with their damage. You know, it's very much about this initial dive and the engage. That's going to be really a nightmare to deal with. I even think on even terms, I really favor the comp that TL have drafted. So we'll see what C9 can really get done. I think it's got to have to be some clever engage, some sort of a flank coming through from Fudge and Zven. One thing working for them, there is no cleanse on Yeon, right? So if you can actually get on this guy, lock him down, File comes in, all of a sudden Renekton flashes on your face, he sends you up after, you die 100 to 0. Well, the gold lead doesn't really matter then.
We're going to get a fight here. Haeri jumps in, a little bit of poke on Zven, but he just walks it off. They're not going to full commit on a Rakan like that. Herald is up. Do we get a fight for it? Haeri's the only one hanging around here in the river right now as Fudge is farming between turrets here in bot lane. Does have the Unleashed teleport ready to join up with any fight. Everybody except EMENES has those teleports up and ready to go. Honestly, all summoner spells besides that Zeri TP are ready to fire here. So the next fight could be very hectic. CoreJJ, he flashes back underneath the turret to bring the Vi with them. This is one of the problems with Vi. You're in, and you're all in. And now Blaber's all out. Pyosik looking for another attack now with a Cyclone 2 getting cast. The Ornn Horde from downtown as Pyosik chases after Berserker and gets another one. Team Liquid exfiltrate the hot zone, losing only 1 and finding 3 from Cloud9.
That could have been so much worse. It looked like Yeon was going to die for sure. It looked like Haeri was going to die for sure. But TL just went too far. Like, they could have just taken the early kills, gotten a Herald guaranteed, set up for the Dragon, and kind of ran away with this game. They got really hyphy after that initial kill. Pyosik diving in under the tower. I don't think they needed to go that far.
I think this is just how these teams want to play League of Legends. So Blaber goes in, the flash, engage fails. The fight is over. I completely agree. Blaber's dead, free Rift Herald, set up Drake. But TL always wants more. Pyosik, he said himself, he is a big game hunter. And this is some big game under the turret that he's going for.
Yeah, but look at Yeon. Like, how that is close. I mean, it's a good flash, it's a good bailout, but Guardian procced, heal came down, and he lived with like 10 HP before he got that flash.
Calculated.
If he flashes over and the bailout has procced, he's in trouble. Summit.
He's got a lot of health.
Oh,
nice
beautifully done there. Yet Bellows Breath buffers for the initial knockup. It's very hard to kill him. He is Ornn.
Yep.
That's the thing that Cloud9 forgot. Their opponent was playing Ornn, and killing him is much more difficult than it may initially appear. Haeri versus EMENES back in the river.
Normally when someone's in a dub spot, he dies because he doesn't have as much Ornn.
Brilliant.
Right, yeah.
So this could be a good future.
They get the Dragon now, almost guaranteed, you have to think, because that was flash. That was a lot of cooldowns expended. And they did get chunked low. Yes, Ornn did not have TP to rejoin, but they're going to grab the Dragon. So they move themselves to Soul Point. They do grab that Mountain, and they're on the precipice of getting Mountain Soul now.
Nicely done from Team Liquid. And honestly, props over to Pyosik, quietly sitting on 5 out of 6 kill participation, just feeling awesome with the Wukong this game.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, I feel like that last play by Cloud9 was more devastating than the lost fight in mid lane. Because the lost fight in mid lane is just, you know, 1,500 gold, I mean 500 gold difference. This was losing the third dragon when their items were actually competitive enough to fight with proper setup. So they completely blew that away, and now they're up against Soul Point.
And another neutral objective going the way of Team Liquid here. Only that first Herald has gone the way of C9 so far. TL gonna back away from the objective. They want the fight instead. They're going for the Ornn. They immediately pop Fudge. And with that enemy frontliner down, C9's gonna have to find a better angle. Blaber goes back over the wall, but Team Liquid's still ready to fight it. Pyosik's traded away. It's gonna be 1-for-1 thus far. There comes the hostile takeover, but it ain't gonna take over anything.
Grab the eye.
And Zven just walk away. Eyeball's sitting on the floor. Somebody get the eyeball. 5-second rule. Don't leave it on the floor.
That's way more than 5 seconds. Don't pick that up now. It's gross.
Oh, no, it's all nasty and it melted into goo.
Yeah, someone needed to go back and pick that up. They could have baited themselves into over chasing again. A little bit unfortunate, but at the end of the day, they do at least get the local gold. They do get a kill for themselves, but was just a 1-for-1 trade, right? And they don't pick up the eye, so it's kind of a slight advantage there.
TL are who they are, man. When you present them with the champion to kill, they're just going to go for it. There's nothing they can do to stop
They're just going to go for it? They kill him or they don't. 50-50 chance.
Yeah, Rift Herald. What's Rift Herald? There is a Renekton in the river.
Rift Herald is not a champion. They already killed it. They already asserted dominance over the Rift Herald.
Coach, his health bar is red and he's on my screen.
All right, well, they do something about it. They do finish it. Yeon starts moving towards it, but then they're like, well, the rest of the team is going forward, so you can't really blame them at this point for piling in and looking for the fight. But Blaber gets out. Someone needed to turn around instantly at this point, especially. Like, the fight is really over, but I think everyone probably thought someone else got it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, that's not my job. Someone's going to get it. It's fine.
I mean, I thought somebody got it until you said, somebody go get the eyeball.
I can't leave eyeballs on the ground, man. That's gross.
Unlucky for that one, but hey, Cloud9's at least a little bit happy with it because it is everything except that first Herald going Team Liquid's way so far. 2,000 gold lead. The big story right now is that next Drake, just under 3 minutes from now, if TL gets it, it's Mountain Soul. It's a huge power spike.
And imagine if they had a Herald to drop down right when that was spawning. That would make the setup so much more difficult for Cloud9, right? If Cloud9 didn't want to respond, they lose towers mid. But TL are saying, screw that. We're just going to rush the Baron here. Cloud9 are aware now that they know something is going on. They have to.
This is a YOLO play from Team Liquid. Zven and Blaber are coming around trying to check and see what's going on. The Baron's down to 3,000 HP. Hostile takeover over the wall. It finds Blaber. He's locked down, but they ain't bursting it hard enough just yet.
No.
They slay the Baron. Blaber goes back over the wall. What's he doing with the ulti? He just killed himself. What on earth was the timing there? Team Liquid get the cake with a cherry on top.
And now the game, I feel like, is blown open. That was the last-ditch effort for Blaber. They were too slow to that.
Uh-oh.
They're still pushing for more.
Ornn finds Berserker. Pyosik bonks him over the wall there with a crushing blow. Zven ready for a counterattack with a grand entrance, but the quickness only finds him a quick demise. Fudge now trying to pick something up, but Summit's so tanky here on the front line. Yeon can follow up with a little bit more fire, and Team Liquid won't lose a man. They'll pick up another kill for free.
And Haeri wasn't even there. Haeri's pushing top lane. He's already taken down the tier 2. Mountain Soul is up here in a minute and a half, and TL are looking really good to take another win against Cloud9.
Yeah, so remember before, Flowers, when you asked me how big the gold lead felt?
Yes.
It is feeling bigger than even 6,000 at the moment, with how like almost tilted Cloud9 looked in that play. They
How big?
just lost
You fit the gold
Baron.
lead in one hand.
This is close to me saying that Nexus is the goal.
Okay.
Like, I'm getting there. I'm getting ready to call this game just because even from the draft,
Mentally
it looked
prepared.
like an experimental draft. And I also feel like when you're in a mindset of we're doing this kind of quirky thing, the other team is clearly not. That's like the most stock standard team comp you could possibly see from Team Liquid on the left, and it's not working. Obviously, you're on stage, so you're trying to win, but there's a small part in the back of your brain that's just saying, get me out. So they're trying to make the comeback happen because I don't think there's a path backwards that isn't desperation.
I mean, the funny thing is, we'll see if they can actually catch Haeri.
Oh, no.
Yeah, all right. Team Liquid just gives a free one away there. Cloud9, nice job on the pick, but now they got to get away afterwards. Blaber killed in response. Fudge locked up with a hostile takeover into the Cyclone. Pyosik still looking to push this one forward. Zven goes into the back and finds the targets, but Fudge cannot complete the kill on Yeon. He's only re-engaged into another death and a double kill for the Aphelios. As Team Liquid starts off losing their mid laner, they get 3 back in return. Pyosik and CoreJJ maybe looking for a chance to grab EMENES here as well, as Summit summons up the Ornn. EMENES using the flash to get away. Nice job there juking, but Cloud9 doesn't have the men to fight for this Drake now, and that means 23-minute Mountain Soul.
Yeah, the Soul is gone. TL have a good read. Yeah, you lost Haeri, but if you're spending a lot of resources to kill one, the gold lead is so massive, they are going to be able to win in the 4v5, and the positioning was good here. The TP comes in. Haeri is being surrounded pretty much by all sides, sees that Blaber's above him, distorts back, sees that EMENES is already TP'd, comes in here, Fudge is TP'd there, Zven is already waiting. But look at the angle here. It's so difficult to fight in this corridor. CoreJJ with a really good handshake there. The hostile takeover comes in across multiple members. EMENES has to run. He has no cleanse, he has no QSS, so you can't stand and fight.
I think with the Mountain Soul completed, Cloud9 is going to move to 6-2. And Team Liquid will probably move to 5-3. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Obviously, we're still in the game.
Still
we're still
50-50 chance. You win or you lose.
I do wonder, though, if this is going to be something that Team Liquid continues to do based on the results of this game. Like, will they pick more stock standard team compositions? Because honestly, this is a much different draft than we've seen from them for most of the split.
I mean, I don't know. It's really weird, right? Because you can say, like, on both sides, it's like Cloud9 are doing this Zeri experiment, and that's why they lost. Well, not really. The Zeri did well. Their bot lane just trolled 2v2.
The standard bot lane.
Exactly, right? And at the same time, it's like, you know, TL, I think, played a good game, but also their opponents really griefed the 2v2. Like, let's be honest, this was a Berserker and Zven loss here in that 2v2, and that's nothing else after it has really mattered that much.
Yeah, it's like we saw the tweet of the Zeri experiment is going wrong, but like it's going wrong because like someone spilled Coke in the test files. Like,
and it wasn't Zeri.
Yeah, there's no way to know if the Zeri's 2-0-2 up 12 CS. Like, it's doing fine.
Haeri.
But the game is a mess.
Oh, he flashes, he dashes, he survives. The LeBlanc gets away. A little bit of sleight of hand there. And now, without ulti, Blaber is a melee minion. The Vi is 0-4. This champion, being a bruiser-type champion, being a champion that can only go in, when you're behind on Vi, it feels terrible. It's like, okay, my job is to try to get an ulti, set it up, and trade 1-for-1. And now that the ulti's been spent, there's not really an effective role he can play. Team Liquid's feeling confident to step forward and look to knock down their second inhibitor of the game. The mid lane inhibitor was already taken. Top lane inhibitor on the menu now. They can just step away from those zaps. Very important to dodge those when you're up against the AP Zeri. They're going to hurt a lot more than they would in the traditional marksman playstyle. All right, C9. Their backs are all the way through the wall. They've been thrown out onto the lawn, and it's Team Liquid looking to keep them out there.
Might be another Vi loss for Blaber as well.
Yeah. It's just not working out, man.
Yeah.
But it's so unjust, you know? It's like, can you blame the Vi here? Come on, man. He lost his whole bottom quadrant because his bot lane was like instantly screwed.
Yes, but he could have pathed towards the Renekton. I do think there's a chance.
Oh, come on, you're not going to the game saying I'm going bot to top this game because my bot lane's gonna run it down at level 1.
Look, man.
Well, no. You're going bot to top because you want to invade the Wukong. Right? With your Renekton pressure, maybe.
Yeah.
I love Blaber as a player, but as the president of the Vi haters fan club, get rid of Vi. Play more
Vi is really good. Like globally, it's like the most picked and banned jungler in the world.
Yeah, I know, but I know
pick.
statistically it's very strong, but my gut just says no. So
you don't feel that Vi is one of the strongest.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
it's because we keep watching Blaber play
the tier list and the stats say
he's played it like 6 times. Leave the man alone.
He doesn't even have enough games on it to be good. No, I'm done. I'm not going to go further on this. I'm trolling.
All right. We're all done clowning on the Vi pick for now, but honestly, it's been a really good showing from the bottom lane of Team Liquid, from the jungle of Team Liquid. Summit's been having some really solid Ornn ultis throughout these mid-game fights as well, and Haeri's doing his job providing some of that poke, just jumping in and out on the LeBlanc. Everybody's been playing this standard composition like we've been talking about very well. Yep. And now they're in control over the whole rift. They've got the soul already. They've got plus 8,000 gold, and the Baron just spawned again. C9 can't go anywhere near this.
Definitely not. I think it's Baron to attempting to end. They might slow play it a little bit and do Baron Elder, but I think they're definitely going to be either just trying to do a little like 4-1 split push to get both waves in at once, or go for the third inhibitor. But if they get enough damage on a Zven, they're just going to try and push to end it.
Yeah, Zven is not having a great game this time around. 0-7-3. Half of the total deaths on Cloud9 are Zven's Rakan. They've just picked him off multiple times. They've focused the bot lane early. That loss in the 2v2 that we've been talking about on C9's side has just not done him any favors.
Look at that CSD.
Wow. Yeah.
He's 12 up.
He is plus 12 on farm, so 2 whole minion waves ahead. You got to keep that one in mind.
TL looking like they're about to close this one out. Going to be able to break the loss streak here. Has been a good game. Zven going to go in.
Ben's ready, but he's already gone berserk. They're finding plenty of damage on him. Pyosik kills Berserker, and that should be the end of the game right there. Blaber gets focused. No dice on the ulti. Yeon survives, fires off the Moonlight Vigil as Summit just runs over Fudge and turns him into Alligator Roadkill. EMENES dashes right back into the base, and he and Zven can do nothing but look on as Cloud9 are handed their second loss of the split from Team Liquid.
And Team Liquid actually steamroll Cloud9. From minute 1 in the bottom lane, they took over. Yeon ends 309, Core ends 3012. Summit played a tank and was completely fine. Nothing went wrong, nothing exploded. Maybe he'll do it again.